Hi there, everybody. I wanted to say welcome, Miss Bianchi's drawing class. I thought it would probably be better to have one of my previous drawings here as opposed to a blank paper. But no, we're not drawing this today. This was our Christmas drawing. And if you do want to draw this, it is on the YouTube channel and it's easy to find. It's called Joy. Today, what I think we're going to do, actually, I know we're going to do, is it's going to be a heart thing. And we are just going to draw some Zen doodle hearts. And basically what that means is we are going to create some heart patterns just freely, creating some hearts throughout our page. And then we're going to fill them with patterns. So I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do. I know I want to fill my page with hearts. I'm not exactly sure how many I want to do. I'm just going to go with it. Just try to maintain like the presence of what's happening and just kind of look and be mindful of the patterns that I want to incorporate. So I think I'm just going to start with that. Kind of reminds me of like a little cluster of balloons right now. So I think maybe I just want to do a little more. And you see that I'm doing some overlapping, some underlapping. Where's this going to go? It's going to go that way. Maybe do some upside down hearts to fill the space there. And that's pretty much it. Okay. What I'd like to do is now dive deep into some patterns. I do want to change this. To me, this is odd. You'll get used to that. I like to reflect on what I've drawn and possibly change things up. Okay. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add a bunch of patterns in here. And the reason why I was thinking we would start with hearts is the fact that we do have Valentine's Day coming, and with the state of the world the way it is, I think we need to like incorporate a lot of love into our hearts and into just our environment. So if we wanted to create something fun, like a Valentine's card for our loved ones, we can do that. One of the patterns that I love to work with, I just love to work with, are circles, little bubbles. So what I do is I'm going to go ahead and choose this heart to do my bubbles. And I like to do a lot of different shapes, bubbles. And one thing I do love to do is go off the page with the bubbles. So see that? I'm going off of my little heart, filling in the space however I feel comfortable filling that in. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing. Do your own thing. This is what this class is all about. I introduce different things to you, and then you can do your own thing. Trying to give a variety of shape. This is my little bubble heart. You can do little bubbles inside of bubbles. Just take our time. Make sure you breathe. This is the beginning of the semester for many of you. My middle schoolers started 3 weeks ago. Still, of course, online. When I do these type of patterns, I'm not really thinking about where I'm drawing. I'm just kind of just trying to feel out where the bubbles belong. And what I like to do with these type of drawings is I like to make sure that I save the coloring for the very end. So that way, when our time is up, you have something that you can take later and complete. Like one of those adult coloring books, like you always see people buying, but we're actually going to draw it ourselves. Okay, so we got some bubbles. I like the illusion that it's giving. And another pattern that I like to do often are like the swirls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these lines and I'm going to create swirls with them. That. And then I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Again, I'm doing different sizes throughout. And some will underlap, and I have to remember that when I'm going under another shape, I need to stop with that line. These always remind me of little snails. I find doing this very relaxing. Looking pretty cute. Just continue to do the swirls. Some more space over here. And the idea is just to fill the space. A cute, relaxing pattern. You also remind me of cinnamon rolls. I don't know why I'm thinking about cinnamon rolls. We just had dinner. Okay. So now we have got two separate patterns. Oh, you know what? This is a swirl pattern. Forgot about this little part down here. There we go. Now we're done. And just to give it some definition, let's go ahead. So here, is this the black? It is the black. I'm going to do a light, darker line than my pencil line, but a light black with my colored pencil, just so that my designs don't get lost within each other until I have time to draw. Then work. Be very careful. Okay. There we go. That helps. Okay. This one, I think it might be kind of fun to do hearts within hearts within hearts. So I'm going to carefully start from the same spot Draw parallel lines, parallel curved lines. I'm drawing very dark, putting lots of pressure down on my pencil, but I recommend that you draw lightly. Okay. In case you want to erase it because it doesn't look perfect, because I'm one of those people that wants it to look really good. There you go. And I don't want to leave any ghost lines, which I can see from here, but I don't think you guys can see on the camera. And another line. This one's going to look fun when we color it because you can do a lot of different things with this. You can go light to dark to light, give it an illusion of popping off the page. Oh, that's ugly. Sorry, guys. I get really judgmental of my work. Okay, so that's another pattern. Pattern that I often like to do also is a checker. And you know what? I'm going to be smart. I'm actually going to do the checker in the back ones. That way I don't have to color the entire huge heart. I suppose we could do that with one of the little ones, but I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm just going to start with the back heart so I don't have to color a tremendous amount of checkers. Okay, so let's see, how would I begin doing that? I suppose what I would do is I would take a line, and if you want, you can use a pencil, not a pencil, of course you're using a pencil. You can use a ruler, which I think I'm going to do. I have one right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start drawing straight lines, trying to keep them parallel. It moved. Okay. Trying to keep it the same width. I'm not going to be crazy enough to measure it. I'm just going to eyeball it. Don't want to waste your time. Oh, look at that, we're running out of heart here. There we go. Okay, so that's that. I guess we could even just do those stripes, but I'm committed to doing my checkers. Okay, so let's go ahead and start over here. Now remember, if you make super small checkers, you have to color in those checkers. So that's, which is perfectly fine. It's just a decision you have to live with. Okay, and we're good. You hear that sound? That sound is a reminder for me to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Sometimes during the day, I forget to breathe, and that is an important thing, so you don't stress yourself out. You know what? I'm going to cut this short. Looks awkward having it like here. It's actually an app, if you like that. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It's an extension. It's an extension on the Chrome. Okay, so I have the majority of my hearts already done up. Oh, you know what we do need to do? We do need to outline this one in black. Where do my pencil go? You know what? I lost my black pencil temporarily. Oh, here it is. I just want to do this one. I'll just do this one. Just so it doesn't get lost. Okay, good. I'll do that one later. Okay, so let's see, what other patterns could we do? Oh, you know what? That's a fun one. It's a wavy one. So it's just basically taking a line and kind of creating like a little wave. I'm going to start with the outside. So just doesn't even have to be parallel. Just like that. Okay. There's one more pattern. Let me see if I can go ahead and bend this down so you guys can see. There you go. And we got two more. So far, we have not had to repeat our patterns. Let's see if we can do something here that, oh, you know what? One thing I always love to do. I love to do, maybe not. I was thinking we would do some jagged lines, but it just does not seem to work with a nice soft heart. So let's see what I can do. You know what? I forget, I love to do like little daisies, little flowers. Maybe that's what I'll do here. It's kind of a fun pattern to do inside a heart because it's one symbol inside another symbol. That's fun. It's cute. Do the little ones. Remember, they can go off the heart, off the page. Look for the itsy bitsy ones too. A little larger here. So I'm going to go behind, so they'll underlap. I don't know if that's a real word. That's what I say. That's cute. Okay, one more to fill in. One moment. So the last one kind of did an upside down heart there. You know what? Kind of rethinking that. It seems so out of place. Actually, yeah. I do have space for it, but I think I want to do it this way. I don't want it to do completely upside down. Do it this way. There we go. Like a little heart like that. And you know what? This one, I think, is just going to be a solid red. That makes it a little fun with all the patterns surrounding it. And just to have one solid color right here. So let me find my markers and we can begin. Actually, you know what? I will use my colored pencils. This is one of my watercolor pencils. So why don't I think what I'll do is I will go ahead and start on this end, the outside. Okay. Start coloring this in, and then I'll go get my water. Because you know what? I wasn't thinking watercolors right off the bat, but I do love watercolor pencils. So what I'm doing is I'm coloring the edges, and if you don't have watercolor pencils, then just go ahead and fill this in completely. I do recommend buying some, grabbing some at Michael's or ordering some off of Amazon. These are Crayola watercolor pencils because they are super fun to work with. I'll pause this video for just a second to go get some water. Okay, I got my watercolors. I should say my water. So what I did is I filled in the perimeter of the heart, and now I am taking my wet brush. I am coloring towards the center. And that's how you use watercolor pencils. I love it. I mean, this is the easy way to use watercolor pencils. There's many, many techniques, but we're not going into any of those difficulty things. What I love about it is there's a little bit of lightness in the center. So that's going to be my solid heart, and the rest I'm going to fill in. Now let's see here. We have let's see what time it is. Want to make sure that I respect your time. Okay, so this is the fun thing. Now we get to choose what colors go where. I think I'm gonna start here with my little daisy, little daisy heart. I also have these fun line drawing pens. I think I got those on Amazon. Not that I'm selling a commercial for them, but I'm gonna just, I think I'll do pink daisies. I definitely want to keep it within the pink theme, although you know it would be really cool too. Anything you want to do. You could do multicolor rainbows. Oh, that would be awesome. You could do black and white, monochromatic. So many things, so many choices. This is my, I'm going to do pink daisies, but where's my, guys, if you saw my desk, it's crazy. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to do the entire thing with you. We'll have a short time together. This is primarily meant just to get you started in that way. When you're feeling stressed, you can finish coloring it in. Just showing you kind of what I wanted to do. I'm going to incorporate a little red in there. Take a little red with the outline. And then also, I always feel it looks pretty amazing when you outline the pencils with black thin Sharpie, in this case, drawing pencil. So that's just an idea. And like I said, I'm gonna reserve drawing coloring the entire thing for later. Oh, you know what? I did want to do some really interesting colors here. Different values of red and pink. So let me pull up all of my reds. Watercolor. Brown. This one is crimson red. Color this space in crimson red. And if you just want to use the same red, but you want to use a different value of it, I'm just going to go ahead and do less pressure on my pencil. What I will do this outline dark. Less pressure on your pencil. One color and then give you a different value of the same color you're using. That's if you have limited pencils. This is a good idea to do that. And this goes back to dark. I want to make sure that this is super dark on this edge because it is meeting that other heart. I don't want it to get lost in the heart. One thing you can do is you can kind of sneak in a different color there. So for example, sneak in a Tuscan red right here, just at the edge. Just to make it look rounded too. And to separate it from that other heart. Yeah, just gives you a little bit of differentiation there. Okay, there's my red. So that's what I was going to do with that particular heart. One more. And you guys see the patterns. You see the pattern. Okay, now I'm going to jump to my beautiful bubbles. I think I'm going to keep white background with the bubbles. And you know what? Trust me when I tell you guys, this is like the best fun thing to do. When you're working with watercolor pencils, you can get something done super duper fast by adding water to these, like to just put a little surrounding color and then coloring in it with water. I am going to erase some of these lines that I'm not going to use because when you do color lightly, you'll see those lines. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a light perimeter. That. Remember, these are watercolor pencils. I'm going to drag those colors in. I'll show you how to do something that's a little bit more creative. Not telling you to do things fast, but this is a great way to kind of do a little quick coloring. If you wanted to make something for a friend and you wanted to make it look like there's a lot of detail in it, but you don't have as much time. doing that. And then I am going to get my brush and wet my brush. And just again, I love the effect of the light, the lighter color in the center. Using the edge of the paintbrush, just a little tiny edge to get to the smaller ones. Look how cute that looks. Okay, so that's that. And then you guys can choose what you want to do with the swirls. Personally, um, the swirls can get a little lost if we fill in the color, the background. So what I tend to do with my swirls is I tend to outline them. That's just what I do. Then if I feel inspired to do any color, and I can go and linger and do it, but this is something that's taking a great deal of time. Again, I'm not going to do it the whole thing for you. You guys can have that time later to do it. But I think it's going to look really cute. And you can change out if you have like a pink or a different red. Really, which one? And then we'll move on to the next pattern. Okay. Checkers. Super fun to do checkers. Again, I think I'm going to use the watercolors on that. I think I'm just going to do red and white checkers. Watercolors to give us that variation of shades of color. Again, if you guys don't have the watercolors, you can just do this with markers or colored pencils. Making sure that we are doing every other there we go. Okay. I'm just going to do these couple rows and that's it for this one for you guys. Okay. Okay. Take my brush, draw the color from the outer edges into the center. Mhm. It's cute. Okay. Probably too big of a brush to be using, but I too lazy to go find my other ones. We should have little ones here, especially in those tight spots. I haven't even had to go get more water once. I'm using very light pressure on this, not using the whole brush. It's getting dry now. And yeah, that's going to look pretty. And if you wanted to, you can do pink or keep it white. And then you can make a decision here whether or not you wanted to go the different values of red. You can do red, pink, dark red, lighter red, pink, white. You can do pink, red, and white. You just anything you really want to do. I think I'm going to jump in and do. Oops, you know what? It's just that watercolor. No, this red. Jump in here and do a solid red here. Now I'm going to see if I can do a volume study here. So then I'm going to do a medium red, the next one, and see if I can go lighter and lighter and lighter. Yeah, typically what I do when I'm doing a value study, because I don't want to make it too dark in the second one, I'm going to go light. And then I'll just add to it to darken it. Okay. So it's obviously much lighter than I wanted to do, so I do a second coat. And that's how I usually attack that. So I know that I'm not going to go too dark the first time around because you really can't reverse it. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to go light here again. I'm going to do that too. So you guys get the idea. And that is going to be what we're doing for this class. There you go. Go ahead and oops, I went over my line here. I hope you guys enjoyed the class. This can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a heart repeated over and over again. It could be daisies repeated over and over again. It could be a letter. Anything you really want. I just was kind of in the mood as we're approaching February. February 1st is next week. Kind of crazy to think about that. But as we're approaching February, I thought, let's do something that gives a symbol of love. Oh, you can do the peace sign like this. That would be cool to do different patterns with the peace sign. Maybe. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my class. And maybe next time we'll get to do this live. Have a fantastic week.